Hello and welcome to CERA Week. My name is Michael Wynne. I'm Vice President of Upstream International here at S&P Global. And I'm joined today by Roger Brown, the CEO of Seplat Energy. Roger, Seplat Energy, let's start there. A big name change. Is it just words or is there meaning behind it and a strategy?
Yeah, good question. It's much more than just a name change. It's actually a whole strategy. And I think it goes back to where we started as a company. You know, gas was very much a big part of our business. We called ourselves Seplat Petroleum Development Company, and I don't think that really reflected the reality of where we were going. So I guess in July last year, we set out a three-pillar strategy, and that really is setting out how we think of our business, you know, now in the short term, medium term, and then into the longer term. And if I look at the three pillars, you know, I'll just run through very quickly. Pillar one is an upstream pillar, and it's really focusing at the oil, the gas. That focus is monetization, short cycle monetization, efficiency of that monetization to create dollars and naira to invest in our business. It's also looking at decarbonizing that where we can with technology and others. Pillar two business is our midstream gas business, and what we're looking to do with that business is really expand it. You know, we're very much a bulk seller of processed gas. We want to go into LPG, CNG, and actually one of our big sort of focuses have been LNG market for Seplat to be in an export model as well as a domestic model for our gas. And that's really about, you know, efficiency, creating more gas in country, processed gas, which is then displacing diesel generated power in Nigeria, which is then carbon saving today. And then it then bridges in, we call it the electricity bridge, or the molecule going to the electron bridge, which bridges into pillar three, which is really renewable energy and what it's going to be for Nigeria into the future. That predominantly, I think, is going to be solar. And so we have our three-pillared approach. It's not that we're going to jettison one pillar for the other two. We're going to continue with those three pillars into the sort of, I'd say, medium to long term.
Okay, so, and that's really interesting. You sort of, in your third pillar there, you bring us into the whole energy transition discussion, which we'll get to shortly. Let's stay with the hydrocarbon aspirations and the pretty much a game-changing acquisition you made of Mobil Producing Nigeria's shallow water assets, which is about 450 million barrels. That's transformational. That sort of shoots you up the league table overnight. So how as a company are you going to evolve? It's going to take some changes to the scale of your business, the way you work. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, so thank you. So look, that acquisition that we announced on the 25th of February, and what that is, it's a corporate acquisition. It's buying the whole of Mobil Producing Nigeria, which is, you know, all the interest in the four assets, two terminals, the whole infrastructure, but also the other thing is staff. We inherit around 1,000 staff, systems, processes, you name it. So we're very excited because Mobil Producing Nigeria is one of the jewels, I think, in country. It's a very well-run business. We're bringing those staff across that are going to bring skill sets into the wider Seplat group. And I think this really is transformational for us. As you rightly say, it doubles our reserves. And in fact, a big part of those reserves, which are resources more, they're not captured in 2P, is gas. So it has enormous gas potential. We think around 7 TCF of gas, probably more. And so that is really looking to then build out a future for our business. But in terms of the liquid side of it, it's production. They're doing working interest around 95,000 barrels a day, which then if we add it to our production at Seplat around 50, you know, that is really trebling our revenues. It will make us a very material player in Nigeria. We're already one of the leading independents, but we're now going to be much bigger. And then on London, it gives us scale and meaning. You know, we're meaningful on the London exchange as well. One thing I will say, of course, it's subject to approvals within Nigeria, so ministerial consents, etc. But we are following that process, and we're hopeful to have that done by the second half of this year. So I think we're excited. You know, we'll run it as a separate business, and we want to capture all the good bits that mobile producing Nigeria has. And then over time, we'll then look to see how we can get synergy effects and savings amongst the wider Seplat group.
I know you're quite passionate about a Nigerian company for Nigeria. So there's presumably benefits flowing through to the Nigerian economy from that deal as well.
Yeah, huge benefits. So look, Seplat is a 99% Nigerian company in terms of employees. Our board's majority Nigerian. That mobile producing Nigeria, again, I think it's 98 or 99% Nigerian. So this is really Nigerians owning their own assets, right? And this is something that I've certainly been talking about for a lot of years, that this is what needs to happen. It happens all around the world. And it's the Nigerian private sector working with the public sector government working together. So Nigerians are owning their own strategic assets. It'll be very beneficial. We are going to grow the assets. We're going to focus on where we can get cheaper liquid production. And there's a lot of infrastructure already in place. And then the gas development, I want to talk about that because I think this is the unwritten real value of this acquisition for us. That this gas will, the minute it goes domestically, but not in big volumes, the 7 TCF of gas is probably, I don't know, about a third of the offshore gas in the UK. So that's sort of the scale of this asset. And we can see a big export model coming into Europe, most likely it's 7-day sailing into Europe. So I think with the transition where it's going, gas is clearly going to be the transition fuel. And it's exciting to be able to have both a domestic gas business and a potential for an export business.
So it really is a win, and it's great. And I know you're very passionate about that. So you're touching on gas there. And so let's go into probably the third pillar of our discussion, which was the third pillar of your initial outlay of Seplat Energy strategy. Energy transition. I know you and I have talked about the energy transition in Africa before. It potentially is different to in other regions of the world. Seplat Energy's aspirations to help Africa's energy transition and also your own carbon zero journey. How's that playing out?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think certainly, Africa's not a big carbon emitter. We know that, but it's all about the transition. So what do we do now? We look at carbon reduction from using gas efficiently. In our Pillar 3 business, we're looking at the electricity bridge into solar business alongside our existing gas business as well. And that's a drive to really get down to carbon zero if we can. That's the sort of target. So we're doing flaring out projects on our existing operations, which by 2024 we should be flared out for that. And then there'll still be some carbon in our business, in our Scope 1, Scope 2 business. But then we're looking at we've done a Tree for Life project, which is a rewilding project, which not only brings employment, but also is a carbon sink. So we're looking to go to carbon zero in our business. Obviously, the Exxon acquisition, our mobile producing Nigeria acquisition, there's some flaring there. We'll look to flare down there. And then that sort of Pillar 3 business will then give us a longer term scenario. Why is this good for Nigeria? We always say Nigeria needs a just transition. It's not just an E of the ESG. So it's not about just purely environment, although I've told you what we're doing around that. It's the S. It's the social agenda is the most important thing, I think, for Africa. It has to have a just evolution, a just transition. You have to allow Africa to grow socially. And I think there is a good model of doing that. So if the developed world is buying, say, African gas, and that reinvestment, or oil as well, that reinvestment is going in to ensure that just transition and the social development, I think it's a win-win for everyone.
And I think you're a very strong advocate for that social aspect. It's come through as we talked about the big game-changing deal that you've got on the table and about the energy transition. So it's fabulous to have shared this moment with you today and talk about Seplat Energy. Roger, thank you very much. And thank you, the audience, for joining us here at CERA Week.